3, 2, 1, clap. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the SplitScreen Gaming Podcast, episode 39.
Sega!
The occasionally weekly podcast where three lifelong friends correspond about video games from the comfort of each other's home. We have a cool episode this week. We're going to talk about the Game Awards. We have some more reviews to talk about this week. This is one of our newer segments.
What's my name? Say my name, say my name.
You can introduce yourself.
No
I'm
one
not saying
is
your name.
around you. I'm Chad Michael Innes. I'm eating a cookie.
You're eating a cookie?
It's a protein cookie, so it's okay. You can eat 100 of them.
And then we have the news we're going to talk about. Before that, we're going to talk about what we've been playing.
What's your name?
Oh, my name's Holden. It's right used to the names.
No,
I
you
did
didn't
a
say. That's
horrible
why
job.
I know.
I thought
You're
I said
fired.
my name and forgot your name, but I guess I forgot both names.
You're fired.
I am so
Welcome
fired.
to the SplitScreen Gaming Podcast, guys. It's just me now. Me and my cookie. It's a double chocolate protein cookie.
What have you been playing, Cookie?
I have been playing. So here's the thing. Remember last time we talked about our Xbox checkbox?
Yep.
Played Cuphead. I'm falling in love.
Didn't you already beat it last week, or no? You did?
No, I was like 2/3 of the way through last week. This week, I finished every boss you can fight before the finale, whatever
Gotcha.
that means. But
Oh, do they really call it the finale in the game? Oh, that's
it was
cool.
World 1, World 2, World 3, and then finale.
That's awesome.
But I had to, there were 4 bosses that I had to do the simple difficulty because I just couldn't fucking do it. They were so hard. So the dragon, the robot, the mermaid, and I don't remember the 4th one.
You brought
the
the difficulty
honeybee.
down to easy? How lame are you?
But I can't do the finale until I've beat them all on regular.
Oh, really?
So now that I've beat all the bosses once, I have to go back to these guys now and finally beat them on regular before I can fight the final boss.
What makes them easier? Is it just less hits before they're down, or they don't have certain moves?
Some of them have fewer phases,
Okay.
or like there are fewer enemies that appear, like small enemies that appear on the screen during it, or like there's one with the dragons and the moving platform, like moving clouds that you're jumping between, and the clouds will move slower, things like that. So, still fucking loving that game. Still hard as shit. And this December's Game Pass challenge this month. What the fuck is wrong with me?
Everything, Chad. Everything's wrong with
This
you.
month of December.
You don't even know your own name. It's just a disaster.
Oh my god, it's this cookie. It's laced with heroin.
It's a protein heroin cookie. That's
Protein
what it is.
heroin cookie.
You can have as many of them as you want.
Oh, it's so good. Hey, December's the month. Game Pass has a challenge. The challenge includes playing Game Pass games for a certain amount of hours. So it's 5, 10, and 15 hours. So I decided Xbox checkbox number 2. I already played Gears of War 1 before, but I never beat 2. So I'm back and started playing 2. And I like those games. I like Gears of War.
I'm trying to think if I've played the first. I've played the first one. I don't know if I beat it because I never owned it. I'm not sure if I rented it or anything like that. I remember always liking them and always wanting them. They have a really cool aesthetic to them.
Yeah.
They're really.
I remember my best friend in high school had one. It was like the first time I saw next gen graphics, and that's the first game that you look at and you're like,
And now you look back and you're like, wow, that doesn't. It still looks good, definitely, but it's funny how that changes. Because I remember the same thing. Was that the first year the 360 came out? Was Gears of War? Because I'm pretty sure that was one of the first.
I think it was
next-gen games.
Like launch window-ish titles. I think
Next gen in quotations.
next gen. So yeah, I've been playing Gears of War 2, liking it. What else did I play? Oh, guess what came out today? Destiny 2 Curse of Osiris DLC.
You
So
been playing that?
I downloaded it from work today. So I will be playing that tonight.
I'm still surprised you're this into Destiny. I don't know why.
Dude, Destiny 2 is good. That's why.
Whatever you say, Chad. Whatever
It's
you
good.
say.
I mean, yeah, I did take a month off of it because I had other shit to do, and it was like, okay, I'm ready for the expansion. Oh god, I got something in my throat. It's probably cookie. Oh, don't eat and talk at the same time, kids. Do as I say, don't do as I do. If you're driving, good for you. You have a car. I'm glad. But don't eat and drive and talk. You'll die. Okay. I think that's all I played. I don't know. I thought about Super Mario Odyssey a little bit.
You thought about it?
But I didn't play it. I didn't think about playing it, but I thought about it, and I was like, you know what? I like that game, too.
It's a good game. I played a little bit of Odyssey. I've been playing...
Even after you got all of the moons?
Yeah. So...
Who are you?
Holden DePardo. No, so I've been going back and just kind of playing games that I'm thinking about for Game of the Year. Just to kind of re-remember.
So you played more Zelda. That's it.
I did play more Zelda, but I played other stuff, too. Played other stuff as well. But I'm not going to say what the games are because I don't want to spoil what I'm considering as my Game of the Year, potentially.
What the fuck is this segment?
What I've been playing, but I've been playing other things besides that. So I can still talk.
Everyone knows what you're considering for Game of the Year. Everyone knows it's Zelda and Mario, and you're going to go towards Zelda.
No, I thought we were doing a top 5. So I was considering like the top 5 games. Those are absolutely up there for sure. If you've been listening to the podcast and you have listening comprehension skills, you know that's what I'll be picking. No, I've also been playing separate from Game of the Year stuff now. I found this really cool mobile game. And it's...
Wait. Is it Boost 3?
No, they don't have a Boost 3.
Oh.
They only have Boost 2. But I did play that this week.
Oh my god, of course you did.
I love that game. So, this game, I'm going to lay it out for you. It sounds so stupid.
What's the name of it?
And it is kind of stupid, but it's awesome. It's called HQ. Have you heard of this? Mm-hmm. Okay, so...
My whole family's playing it.
Yeah, so for people who don't know, I think this is awesome. The idea is that it is a live trivia game show through an app on your iPhone. And so you just, every night at 9 p.m. and every weekday at 3 p.m., they will have a live host give you 12 trivia questions, and if you answer all 12 questions, you will win real money. It'll go to a PayPal account, and you get it the next day. And I downloaded it on Friday, and I have done it every single time it airs, including just before the podcast. We're recording this just after an HQ. I got to the final question one time. I was very proud of myself, but I always get stumped on the music-related questions because I just don't know...
Lyrics
or like just any musicians really. Like one of them was what is the only singer to have 2 songs in the Billboard top 10 at the same time? And
is it multiple choice or fill in blank?
It's multiple choice. Yeah. There were 3 options. It was Taylor Swift, Drake, and Ed Sheeran. And I'm like, I don't know, Taylor Swift, because I don't even know any songs by these people. So how would I possibly know that? I got it wrong. It was Ed Sheeran. But they have some really tough questions. They start off super easy. Like tonight's, the first question was, which continent lies mostly below the South Equator? South America, Europe, or Asia? It's like, well, one of those has the word South in it. So I'm going to choose that one. But there are sometimes you get to see, what's kind of cool is you get to see how many people answered each question. Yeah. And so there are some where, though they call them savage questions, where they just knock out so many people. There was one that knocked out, I want to say like 150,000 people out of like 200,000 that were playing at that point.
Dang.
And it was like, what is the company Trek 2000 known for? And it was like notebooks, mountain bikes, or USB drives.
Bikes.
Wrong.
Damn.
It's actually USB drives. Most people said bikes, and it's funny is I accidentally hit USB drives. I'm like, damn it, it was bikes. I'm not gonna get it. And then I was like one of like a few thousand people who got past that. That was the time I made it to the last round, but didn't make it. It was like, what does Estee Lauder start off with in 1946? So like a makeup company, and it was like lipstick, skin lotion, and something else. And I said lipstick, and it was skin lotion. I was very upset. I was very upset.
And skin lotion.
Oh my gosh. Well, there are 3 options. It's fun. It's kind of cheeky. Like the host is very animated and kind of wacky, and like one times it opened up and he's reading a book being like, "You're right, Janice." And he just threw the book to the side and be like, "Hey guys, like it's the HQ show." He just is kind of like wacky and zany and fun. It's cool. I have really enjoyed it, and it's like I want to keep doing, and I want to get the word out there because I think it's really cool.
So it's like, who wants to be a millionaire, but everyone.
Well, you're not really going to get that much money. It's you're splitting $1,000 at the end between everyone who won. But so far, I've seen that range from people winning $14 to winning $300. It just depends on.
No matter what, it's free money.
Yeah, totally. And
I just wish I had the amount of time in my life to do things like play every single round of it since Friday.
it doesn't take that long. It's like 12 minutes.
Yeah, but I'm a working adult man, so.
Well, I go to school, so I can make my own time, I guess.
Yeah.
So that was really fun. I also have been playing another game, which is much grander and wider in scope, and that is Xenoblade Chronicles 2.
Oh, you got that for the Switch!
I got that for the Switch. I will say I dabble in JRPGs.
I dabble in JRPGs. My name is Holden Departed, and I dabble.
I don't play them very often. I think I can count on my hand the number of JRPGs I've played, and I think all of them start with final and end in fantasy with some sort of numeral. So my experience is not very wide.
You played, was it I Am Setsuna?
I did play I Am Setsuna, that's right.
Yeah.
I did play that on Switch, which was very good. I liked that game a lot. And it's fun. I like it a lot. It's by no means one of the best Switch games. I think there was a ton of hype because the original Xenoblade, and I have this in the review roundup coming up later on, what people's thoughts are on it, but there was a ton of hype because Xenoblade Chronicles, the original on the Wii, is considered one of the best JRPGs of all time. And
of all time?
Of all time, yeah.
I don't know if I ever heard that about it.
Or at least with the generation or something like that. It was considered like the best JRPG of blah, 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 something. And I like this game a lot. It's just tough to get into. It's really, really tough to get into. I don't know how long I've been playing it because there's this bug where when I put the Switch in sleep mode, it still tracked game time.
Yeah.
So it says I played like 25 hours, but it's really probably been more like 5 or so. And I'm still getting tutorial stuff nonstop because this game is so deep. There is so much to Xenoblade Chronicles 2. It's kind of crazy. The combat looks really simplistic. It kind of works like a RuneScape or like an MMO where you just kind of walk up to the enemy, you hit A, and you just kind of start slashing at them.
Yeah.
But then you can make your attacks more powerful by timing what are called arts, which are like special moves with when you're hitting them. So it's kind of like a pattern of like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And if you hit with one of your arts on the third hit, just as it hits your enemy, then you go for another attack that's more powerful. So it's kind of like your timing and how you're timing your companions' moves at the same time kind of add up, and there's like elements to think about, that kind of stuff, and they keep adding things to it, and it keeps getting deeper and deeper. And people who say that like there are 50 hours in the game are still seeing tutorial stuff that's new to add to the combat system. So it seems there's a lot to do there, but it is hard, man. Like if you go to an enemy that you're on the same level of, no problem, is cakewalk to beat them. But you're in these massive fields that have, I don't know, a range of level like 7 enemies to level 90. And so you'll walk in somewhere and you'll see the guy's level 90 tag and you're like, well, shit, I'm not supposed to be here. And you start to run away and he starts chasing you down and he just gets you in one hit every single time because he's, many, 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 many times more powerful than you. So it kind of hinders the exploration because I kind of feel like I'm on like a narrow path because I can only go in certain areas. But it's enjoyable. The story seems like every other JRPG I've played before. So it doesn't seem anything like terribly unique, but I like it. It's a really good looking game, except when you play it in undocked mode. I think it was who were the guys early this year who got a chance to look at the Xbox One and were able to like tell you how powerful it was? What are they called again?
Digital Foundry?
Yeah, Digital Foundry. I think they did like an analysis of this game, and I can't remember what it runs at when it's in docked mode. It's at least 720p because it looks pretty good on my TV. Yeah. When it goes to undocked, it goes down to like 368p or something.
Gross.
And so when you're looking at these massive, like, wide landscapes, the details are just gone. And at times they can kind of look sort of cool when you're just looking at the character models close up and they have this more like slightly like high res but retro-y look to them almost. So it looks kind of cool. It doesn't look like pixelated or anything. It's just like the anti-aliasing gets pretty bad.
Yeah.
So there are times where I'm like, okay, that doesn't look like terrible. Like there's kind of like almost a kind of a cool like aesthetic to it, but
Does it look like a blown up 3DS game?
It looks like a blown up 3D, like a really good 3DS game with really good draw distance. But it's totally playable still. Like, it's not like it's unplayable. Like, I can still read text and things like that, no problem. It's just like the game world and the textures kind of go into lower resolution.
Gotcha.
But it also is. I'm not a fan of anime at all. Like, I just don't care for anime. Nothing against it. It's just not my thing. And this is just super Japanese. There are just so many moments where it's like the characters go, "What?" And like their eyes like turn like completely white or something because they're, crazy surprised by something. Or they're like those annoying animal characters that I will say.
Talking cat?
Yeah, there's like these talking like fat bunny things that their hands look like their ears or something. I don't know. It's weird. They're called pon-pons or something like that, I think. I don't know. I'm probably wrong about that. They're not as annoying as I thought they were going to be, because every review is like, and then there was these stupid bunny cat things. I didn't hate them as much as I thought I would, but they do that thing where they don't talk in proper English. They're like, we like, they're talking to like, oh yeah, like they talk to Rex. The guy's name is Rex, and they always call him Rex. I call you Rex because double name more important or something like that. They just talk in really weird, like broken English.
Yeah, drink that water.
But I like it. I mean, it's enjoyable. It's something that I'm just kind of probably chip away slowly at for a while.
Sure.
And by no means like super invested in it where I'm like, I gotta play this nonstop.
Like, how does it rank with ARMS?
I liked ARMS a lot. So I think ARMS is better than if you're gonna say like, I don't know, a Switch game you should get immediately. Okay. But we'll do our best games of the year later on.
Hey, do you still play? I was wondering because the fall off seems to be significant on this one. Do you still play Pocket Camp? Animal Crossing Pocket Camp?
A little bit. Not like the first few days I got it, I did a lot. And I'm doing a little bit every once in a while, but it's like every other day or something like that.
Gotcha.
Yeah, well, I have Pocket Camp news we're going to talk about.
Pocket News.
Pocket News with
Holden to Parpar.
That's exactly. I'm Rex.
Anything else you've been playing?
I did play a little bit of this game. Do you know Game Dev Story?
I've heard of it, yes.
It's a mobile game I go back to occasionally, and every time I played it many, many times at this point. Every time I play it, I get super wrapped up, and it's the only thing I do for literally hours on end. And it's so stupid, but it's awesome. It's a gaming company simulation game where you start off super small, like you're just in like a tiny little office with 2 employees making video games, and you decide, do I want to make a simulation pirate game? And then you make that, and based on like how well trained your staff is, you can make a game that's of a certain quality. And then you start to get more money so you can hire better people, and then you can make consoles eventually. And it's really charming and awesome. It's just so awesome. And I got really ecstatic when every time I've played it, it's been still like iPhone 4 supported. Like it didn't even go up to iPhone 5. Not only is it now supported on iPhone, on all iPhone models, it's also supported on an iPad. So I immediately downloaded it on an iPad, and I'm like, I got this big screen version of it. It was great. So I like that game. Fun game. I recommend it. I think it's like $5, but the guy's name is Cariosoft, is the developer, and that's all they do is just make these these 8-bit simulation games, or I guess they're like 16 8-bit kind of quasi in between. And there's like one called Grand Prix Story where you're making a go-kart company, and like you race and compete against other companies. They're really fun. There's just too many of them. Like that's all they do. They have them ranging from the 2 I just mentioned to running a super mega mall. A mega mall story is the name of that one. You have like you can run a hot spring in Japan. There's one where you have like a soccer team. Like there's just all sorts of stuff. I like the Grand Prix Story and Game Dev Story the most, but they're really fun games. I highly recommend them. I think they're worth it.
I need to find more mobile games.
I would recommend, if you're looking for a mobile game, I actually would recommend it. It's super fun. It's a very well done game.
Speaking of mobile games, shout out to David Ramirez,
I haven't seen that guy in a long time.
I know, right? He stood us up for one of these things. He was supposed to be like our first guest.
That's right.
We had to be like, listen, not cool, man. We're going to replace you with someone much better. Who was it? I don't remember.
I think it was someone Travis.
Cool. Was it Travis was our first guest?
Travis was the first guest for sure.
Gotcha. Yeah, it was Travis. And Travis is obviously much better. So Boom. That's science. Anyway, shout out to David
was
Ramirez
also on
for
it
showing
twice
me.
because Travis is awesome.
There's an app for your phone and iPad called RPlay that you can remote play your PS4 to.
Oh, really?
And you can either do like touchscreen support, you can do DualShock support, you can do regular
I
iOS
would
gamepad
love
support.
to see someone try to play like Destiny or something like that in touchscreen mode.
Oh my god, I can't.
I bet it's horrible.
Once I figure, I fucked up my remote play somehow with my Airport Extreme time capsule, whatever the goddamn shit, and I gotta fix that. But once I do, I'm gonna download this app and I'm gonna play Destiny just for you with touchscreen controls. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, I'm sure that's going to be terrible. I want to see that. I have a surprise for you, Chad.
Oh my god, tell me my surprise. Wait, let me guess it. Is it another cookie?
No.
I'm sorry I ate that cookie so long, everyone. It was just a really big cookie.
It's okay. We've eaten Chipotle burritos on this podcast before.
I'm also really sorry if you can hear me farting. I ate a lot of sloppy joes today. And I'm just an adult man with adult needs, and those needs are farting. I'm in my own home. Don't judge me.
Well, I can't hear your farts, but I can hear me saying this awesome surprise right now. Terrible
Good
segue. Terrible segue. So I just thought this was kind of cool. So there was this, what was the name of the company? I can't remember this company, but they showed a bunch of people different logos for games. And they said, do you recognize these logos? And I was really surprised by which ones were the most recognizable. So I'm going to name the logos to you, and I want to see if you can guess what the top 3 most recognized logos were.
Okay.
So, and they are listed in order, so I'm going to say them out of order as to not give you any hints.
Oh. So whatever you say first is not number 1.
Basically, yeah. So I'll do one of the surprise one to kind of throw it off for you.
Okay.
Triforce, The Legend of Zelda.
Okay.
Hylian Crest, The Legend of Zelda. There's 2 of them on there.
Okay.
Nuka-Cola, Fallout. The Witcher Medallion from The Witcher.
Okay.
Life Invader, Grand Theft Auto 5. Mortal Kombat logo.
Okay.
The Horde Crest, World of Warcraft. The Lambda from Half-Life. Halo symbol. And Umbrella Corporation from Resident Evil.
Okay, so this is tough because some of these things I don't even know what they look like, but it's because like I don't play Grand Theft Auto, so I don't know what the whatever Invader is.
Just really focus more on the game.
I know that
like,
it's sold a banillion copies. That's a number, banillion.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to guess what the top 3 are most recognizable.
I was surprised by this.
I'm gonna say,
like, they're all popular games, of course.
Yeah,
So it's not like super surprising, but it just wouldn't be the ones I would suspect.
I'm gonna go Hylian Crest, followed by Mortal Kombat symbol, followed by Umbrella Chronicles, or Umbrella.
You're really close.
Yeah.
So number 3 is Hyrulean Crest.
Okay.
At 76% of people recognizing that one. Number 2 is the Halo symbol at 79%.
Halo, I can't even, like, off the top of my head right now, I don't even know, like, what do they mean Halo symbol? What does that look like?
I'm holding it to the camera for you. It's like a circle.
Oh, yeah, fuck
with
yeah,
the
okay.
dot. Yeah.
Yep. The O of Halo.
Yeah. And then number 1 with 85%. So much better than Halo and Zelda. Mortal Kombat logo, the dragon. Yeah. I was really surprised by that because Mortal Kombat is just not something that's in the zeitgeist anymore and gets talked about an awful lot.
Are you kidding me? There have been 2 movies.
Yeah, 2 movies that people love.
And it was a hugely controversial game in the 90s, so all parents know it because of the blood.
I guess.
It was only
unless you were playing on
Genesis.
Super Nintendo.
Yeah.
So I thought that was interesting.
Even my roommate doesn't play video games, but she literally has a Nintendo Wii and only Mortal Kombat.
That's true. I always thought it was really funny.
Yep.
That's like the last system you would think to get that on. Like, I bought a Nintendo Wii for Mortal Kombat.
Yep.
Now, here's the biggest surprise. What's the least recognizable one?
Witcher?
That's the second least recognizable one.
Okay.
This one's really shocking. I thought this was really surprising, considering what was in the top 3.
Well, you've just given me all the clues for the Triforce.
Yeah, the Triforce is the least recognizable. So 76% of people recognize the Hylian Crest, but only 35% of people recognize the Triforce.
And doesn't the crest has the Triforce in it, right?
The crest has the Triforce in it. That was really weird for me, but all right. That was interesting. And I think there's also, they added on this too, 39% of people who recognize these logos were born in the 90s. 28% of people who recognize the logos were born in the 80s. 20% from the 70s, and 11% from the 60s.
Ooh.
Just because video games is a newer thing.
Video games, man.
Video games.
Science.
All that science, which brings us to news.
Nudes? Send us nudes. Wait, doesn't you want to do reviews first?
Up to you. We can do reviews or
Well,
news
fucking
first.
write it in the note how you want it to be. Because it says what we're playing followed by reviews.
Okay, well then we'll do
and
reviews.
And then you snuck in this surprise in here. Fucking getting my panties all excited.
I just want you to be on your feet.
Get
Agile
on
and ready.
your feet. That's Gloria Estefan, isn't it? I think so.
I have no idea. You're asking the wrong person. Remember, I don't know songs with lyrics in it.
Well, if you ever get a question in HQ saying, who sings Get On Your Feet, Gloria Estefan.
Why should that
whoever's
be
singing
like
it
the
in
game-winning
Brother
question and I win all $1,000 because nobody else knew that?
Exactly.
Very unlikely. So, well, I guess we're doing reviews because you just bullied me into that.
That's right. And we don't fight on this podcast.
No, we just bully each other subtly.
Yep.
So we're going to do 3 games. We have Xenoblade Chronicles 2. We have Resident Evil Revelations 1 and 2. We're just kind of combined into one. And then we have Doom VFR.
Very fucking reality.
I think it's virtual fucking reality, yeah. But I do love that's what it's called. So Xenoblade Chronicles 2 has an 84% on Metacritic. 52 of those reviews are positive, 5 are mixed, and there are no negative reviews for the
negative
game.
reviews.
No, actually, it's funny is that none of the games have had negative reviews that I've done, which is pretty interesting. So the highest review for Xenoblade Chronicles 2 was from RPG Gamer. They said it has tons of depth that ties well into the gameplay. It's one of the finest titles of the year, but it is hard to meet expectations as the first game. Since the first game is just so good, but everything it does really well. I don't agree with that, but I think there are some things it does not very well at all. Like, it has probably some of the worst sound mixing I've seen in a game.
Oh, really?
I had to go in the settings and adjust the characters over the music because the music is so loud. It's gorgeous music, but it's so loud I can't hear the characters talking, and I don't like to use subtitles. So I had to bring it up because I'd missed major portions of the story because I don't know what people were saying. It was ridiculous.
But it's every other JRPG, right?
It's every other JRPG.
So you don't have to worry about the story.
Yeah.
There are some really, really great JRPG stories. So.
Oh, yeah, no, I'm not saying that at all. But there's definitely like the stereotypical structure for a JRPG. Not that the stories are bad, but the structure is very similar.
Sure.
Amongst the one I played, at least. Again, all mine end in fantasy and begin with final. Stevivor gave it the lowest score of 65, and they said it's not bad, it will just only be appreciated by JRPG fans because it's so deep. And amongst all the reviews I was kind of seeing for Xenoblade Chronicles, it seems like the consensus is that, like I already said, the animal characters are annoying, the story can feel generic, and that it takes too long to build up to the plot of the game. Like right now I can say I'm 5 hours in and there's so many like open threads. I'm like, I don't know what the main plot of the story is. Like I know there's this thing that they have to get to Elysium, but there's no mention of how they can do that or like what characters are stopping them, why a character would want to stop them. Like there's just so much that I don't know yet. Yeah. And not in a great way. But it's gotten very good reviews. It seems like anyone who's played it has enjoyed it. There's no one who completely dislikes the game.
What does the Shulk amiibo do in this game? That's very important to me.
Actually, I don't know.
Oh my god, get out. Fucking, you're fired. Tell me about the next game, though.
Resident Evil Revelations 1 and 2, 77 on Metacritic, 10
These were
positive.
both originally 3DS games? Question
So,
mark?
Resident Evil Revelations was a 3DS game, but it came out on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One later on, and Revelations 2 was only for PlayStation 4 and Xbox One.
Gotcha.
It got a 77.
Now both on Switch.
Yeah, both are on Switch now. And they're $20 each, by the way.
Good.
Which is a good price.
For you.
I at some point I might get Resident Evil Revelations because I would like a survival horror game on my Switch.
Yeah.
And
I think I have it free on... I think it was a PlayStation Plus game.
I would be surprised. I've wanted to play it. I tried playing on 3DS, but playing a shooting game on 3DS is not awesome. So I played the demo and just never wanted to pick it up.
Yeah.
But I've heard it was still good on that as well. But God is a Geek gave it an 85 as the highest review for the Switch version. They said it's a perfect RE game for Switch. I don't know about that one. I can think of many of the Resident Evil games I'd rather have on Switch. It has fantastic motion controls and lots of content because all the DLC for both games are included in each one, which is kind of a standard if you're going to re-release a game. The lowest score
also
was
it was episodic, right?
The second one was.
So it better include all the episodes.
That'd be hysterical. Like, it's $20 for the first episode. You had to pay for the other ones after that. It's like an $80 game by the end of it. And it's just a standard, like, 8-hour game. Hardcore Gamer gave it a 70. They said Capcom did a solid job porting the game over to Switch. A couple hiccups in the execution, however. So apparently there are points where it can get a little framey, but nothing too drastic. I actually didn't see many reviewers complaining about that at all. The biggest criticism I saw was just more of Resident Evil Revelations 2, which doesn't have great environments. Like, they're just all pretty bland and the same. Like, you're in a mental hospital.
Yeah. Big
surprise that you're in a harder game in a mental hospital. But the first game does have a very, very cool location where you're on a boat in the middle of the ocean.
Oh my God. Is it the boat from Uncharted 3? Because that blew my mind.
No, it's actually the boat from Titanic. No spoilers on how it ends.
The boat from Titanic, what was the name of it?
I don't remember.
Was it Britannica?
I think it was Queen Elizabeth.
Nailed it.
Nailed
Queen Elizabeth.
So the other kind of thing you're saying is that because you can buy them separately, just buy the first one. It's the better. It's the better of the two. The Metacritics I pulled up were for both games, but I should point out that separately they were also reviewed, and the first game got much better reviews than the second game did. So if you're going to buy one, you're like, hey, I have $20, I want to buy a survival horror game for the Switch. Don't buy the second one. Buy the first one. It doesn't have the co-op stuff that the second one has that differentiates it, but the first one is apparently still the better game overall. And even when it first came out, I remember it getting lauded just for having a return to survival horror mechanics. And this was before Resident Evil 7 went back to the roots of survival horror mechanics. So it seems to be a pretty good game. Doom VFR, however...
tell me all about this.
Got more mixed reviews. I got a 71, so it's not bad by any means.
Yeah.
8 were positive, 10 were mixed. Still no negative reviews. And I think this is a great example of just a game where the best review and the worst review are in such contrast with each other. The 6-Axis gave the game a 90. That was the highest review. They said, it's the best example of a VR game built for the ground up for VR. Movement could use some improvements because you use the teleportation method where you just kind of like jump across. The other side is Upload VR said, found the control scheme was frustrating and awkward to fight against while playing. Feels that the VR support is holding the game back. Like, it could have been better if it wasn't in VR. And I think it just comes down to, you look around the environment, it's cool you're in Doom and fighting demons in VR, but I think the movement just killed it for all these people. And it does, like, what I loved about Doom is the fluidity of the movement and how I could just move around so quickly and, like, shotgun a demon, and then I was already flying across the room to shoot something else. Whereas this, since you're teleporting, it's like, I'm going to stand in place, shoot some demons, then jump to that side of the room, and then shoot some more demons. And it just feels like that kills the vibe of what made Doom so unique. So if it wasn't in VR, it'd be a great Doom game. But because it's in VR, people are not liking that. So the whole 6-Axis game, it's the best example of a VR built for the ground up. I am very surprised to see such a bold statement when no one else seems to be saying that. No one thinks it's bad. Like, it apparently runs fine and all that. It's just not ideal. Like, if you're going to buy a VR game, you shouldn't get Doom VFR first.
Sure.
But I think just, and this is apart from the reviews at this point, I still think it's kind of cool that you're seeing big companies like Bethesda taking a risk and trying something out for VR.
I absolutely love that.
We're going to see a lot of shit with VR. We're just going to. We're not going to see a lot of not great stuff come out on VR at first. Because that's just how it is.
Yep.
When we have these new platforms like that.
This is the minigame craze of the Wii. You know,
yeah, exactly.
Everybody's like, oh my God, new control scheme, new everything, I want to try it out. And then we're like, all right, we'll see what matters stick.
Look at the Atari game systems before like the NES came out. So many of those games were complete crap because it's like things hadn't been figured out in terms of game design in a way that other developers had figured out by the time the NES came out. So I think it's just like, we're just figuring out how these games work in VR. We're just in that awkward phase. VR's in puberty right now. It's just going to be awkward. Yeah,
it's in those awkward teenage years.
Yeah. But that's all we got for the reviews. I mean, nothing was bad. Like, it sounds like anything you buy this week, you're not going to have a bad experience with. But there might be
Especially Destiny 2, Curse of Osiris DLC, out now.
Which are not reviews for yet, so maybe next week we'll see some
Maybe.
reviews for that. But in the meantime, there's some awesome stuff that happened this week.
Tell me about it.
Let's jump into it. Do you want to go first? Want me to go first?
News. I want to talk. You've been talking enough.
No, I've not been doing enough talking. My voice is beautiful.
You motherfucker. Speaking of VR.
I think that's what you're doing. Yeah. This is a cool story.
Yeah, speaking of Doom VR and Bethesda, there's actually a really cool program that Sony started, and it was so successful it is now full, where they were reaching out to select PlayStation Plus members and offering them a free PlayStation VR trial. You know, now that VR in general has been accessible to the public for over a year, you don't find as many like demo kiosks in retail stores. So there's not really a way to try out VR a whole lot unless you have a friend who has one or something like that. So PlayStation has been contacting those like people and offering them, hey, we'll send you a PlayStation VR headset. We'll send you a set of Move controllers, a camera, and Skyrim VR. And you can try it for 2 weeks.
No Move controllers, though.
It does come with Move controllers.
I was reading it doesn't come with Move controllers.
Well, you read it wrong. This says, the trial bundle includes a PlayStation VR headset, a PlayStation camera, 2 Move controllers, and a copy of Skyrim VR, Sony's PSVR Demo Disc 2.0.
Well, Game Informer's website did not say that. They got it wrong, I guess.
They did. I mean, it's the Skyrim bundle.
Okay.
It is the Skyrim bundle they're sending you, which is $450. It is also right now the only place to do the 2.0 VR headset.
Oh, interesting. Now, is this going to be like, let's say you like it, you're like, hey, I just want to buy this. Can I just have this, or do you have to send it back?
So you have 14 days, and if you decide, they charge your card $300 when they send it to you. If after 14 days you decide to send it back, they refund you for $300. If you decide to keep it, then that's it. You paid $300 for a $450 bundle, which is pretty awesome.
That actually is a really good deal. I should sign up for that.
Well, it's full. It was so successful that within 2 days, it completely
They can make an exception for me.
You're exactly right. Don't you know who we are? We're on SplitScreen Gaming Podcast.
Why don't you go for another one?
Yeah, you talk.
I talk
me
this
go
time?
for another one? All right,
Yeah,
kind of sticking with Sony. This is really awesome. I guess this technically came out before we did during last week's episode, but we missed it. PlayStation said that Black Friday this year was the most successful Black Friday they've had in their 22 years of existence, 22-year history.
Which is surprising considering how old the PS4 is now, and also how PS4 Pro came out last year.
Yeah, and all those years that the PS2 was super dirt cheap and available on, like, amazing.
That's very, very cool.
They sold more PS4s this year than they've ever sold for a system on Black Friday. Awesome.
Congratulations, Sony.
Consoles are dead.
I hated those rumors or that talk so much. Nintendo, and another news story, also had a great Black Friday.
Yeah, they did.
They had the best-selling console on Black Friday, which is especially interesting because it wasn't on sale.
Yeah.
People just wanted to buy it. Here's the thing, though. It wasn't on sale, but if I want to buy a Pro Controller, if I want to buy some games for the Switch when I get it, that stuff was still on sale. So for a consumer going into the store, kind of for them, there were discounts that would have made it more appealing. So
yeah. I mean, I think this is the deepest discounts I saw, though, on control. Like, you could get $12 off some Joy-Cons, which are $80.
Yeah, they're really expensive.
Like, so it still wasn't, like, that much of a discount, which makes it even more impressive.
Yeah, no, I think it just says that the demand for Switch is super, super high.
Super hot.
Super hot. Which makes sense because they have some cool stuff coming up, apparently. There are some rumors that this guy named Marcus Sellers, he's an industry insider, he was talking on Twitter and saying that Bandai Namco is going to be making some big announcements on December 15th, a lot of which are very Nintendo-focused. Bandai Namco is From Software.
Bandai Namco, you all know them from when they used to be Namco Bando.
Yes,
no,
and they just
Namco Bandai.
and then they just switched their name the other way around for some reason.
Yep.
But apparently, one of these games that's being rumored is Dark Souls for Switch.
Oh, stop it! Stop teasing yourself, Holden.
It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. I'm so convinced of this. From Software is a listed developer that Nintendo has said on stage is making games.
I know.
See nothing from them. It's gonna be Dark Souls. It's coming out, I think, next year.
They're done with Dark Souls for now, and whatever new thing they're working on is also coming to Switch. That's the truth of it. That's what I've decided.
It's going to be a Dark Souls 1 remaster, or even just a port for Switch. That's what I'm thinking. We'll find out December 15th. Apparently that's when they're making these announcements. So, big stuff there.
I got 2 dates for you.
You have 2 dates for me?
I have 2 dates. One, Travis Manning, this one's for you. Although I'm sure you already know this and are geeking the fuck out. This Saturday on December 9th until December 12th, you can try out Monster Hunter World. There's an open beta on PlayStation 4. You can preload it starting on December 8th, so you have that whole 3-day area to play on it. So, Travis, go download that on what is that? What day is that even? Friday is the preload day? 8th? Is that... How does time work?
I haven't heard of the story, so you tell me.
Monster Hunter World... You know what's weird? Monster Hunter World, we'll get to this in a second. Shut up. No, we'll talk about this later. Stop forcing me. The 26th of January is when it launches on PlayStation 4, Xbox One. By the way, the open beta for some reason is only on PlayStation 4. I guess, I don't know. Monster Hunter used to have like a history on... No, it hasn't. It's always been Nintendo.
No, it was really big on PSP for a while. And then 3DS, it was like, oh, Monster Hunter's on Nintendo now? It was a weird thing for it to be on Nintendo.
Yeah.
But apparently, Sony is pressing hard to make sure that Monster Hunter's Worlds stays on PS4 and doesn't go to the Switch specifically.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a big thing for them right now.
Another date. God of War release date has potentially leaked. According to every article ever in every news site, Sony accidentally put up a date on the US PlayStation Store.
This isn't even a rumor. This is an oops.
Yep. God of War is now listed for March 22nd, which we predicted would be a March release date because we're amazing.
I think you predicted that. Let's give you the credit.
You're right.
You predicted that.
I'm the best. I'm amazing. God of War has usually traditionally come out in March. So yeah, March 22nd it looks like. The Amazon also lists the art book for it coming out on March 15th, which would be pretty appropriate for it release date-wise. So that's coming only a month after Shadow of the Colossus.
It's like a month and a half.
You're like a month and a half.
No, I'm 24 years old, Chad.
Oh my God. Don't tell the world that. They're going to steal your identity.
They can for my social security number, my PIN number for my credit card, all that.
That's all. Whenever you open a credit card, all they ask is your age. Not even your birthday, just your age.
Name, not important. Just give us your birthday. That's all we need.
Okay, those are the 2 dates I had. Go.
All right, I got some more stuff. Actually, I want to go back to some more From Software really quickly. From Software had made a comment on Armored Core's future. It's another franchise they'd worked on.
Oh, yeah.
They said they're not done with it. They said, we'd be happy if you could wait a little longer.
Yep.
That's exciting. I have a feeling that announcement's going to happen possibly as soon as this month. Announcements, not...
No.
We'll get to it.
Okay.
Well, here's the thing.
I'll just say no again later.
A PS theme comes out tomorrow. A PS4 theme. So they are already trying to get this in
an
people's
Armored Core
minds.
PS4 theme?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So it comes out tomorrow. They're not going to do that and say, okay, now in 6 months we'll start talking about like an announcement that we're working on a game. Doesn't it have any
What does that say for the fact that PlayStation just put out a PS2 theme? Does that mean PS2 backwards compatibility is coming natively to PlayStation 4?
Shut up.
Oh,
but like Armored Core is not something in the mind of anyone right now at all, I would say.
Also, you can find a theme with a dragon on it or a scantily clad woman. Does that mean that a dating service with dragons and scantily clad women is coming to your PlayStation 4?
I don't like that attitude, Chad, but we don't find this podcast, so I will bite my tongue. Do you know who else isn't going to be happy right now? Nintendo's not going to be happy right now.
Why not?
Because some information leaked from EA.
Oh, son of a bitch.
They had an internal document leak about a game called Fee that they are working on.
Oh, yeah, Fee. That actually looks gorgeous, I think.
It does look very gorgeous,
This is the one I'm remembering.
And apparently it's coming to Switch, because in the marketing materials that got leaked, they talk about how they're going to show off some more of the game on Switch during a Nintendo Direct in January. Which is kind of semi-elite because they've always done Nintendo Directs in January. It's actually one of their biggest Directs of the year.
Even back in 1997 they did.
No.
You're right. Hey, speaking of another oopsie, did you see Tacoma? There was like a press release or something like that, or an advertising image, I don't remember which one, where it said Tacoma, which is currently an Xbox One and PC exclusive. And that's all they've ever said it would be. It said Xbox One, PS4, and Switch.
Oh, did it really?
Yeah, it did.
That's too funny. That's like earlier in the year, GameSpot was showing off game footage of Dark Souls 3, and for some reason it says captured on Nintendo Switch on there. And everyone went crazy, like, oh my god, do they have an early copy? Like, no, they don't have an early access copy to Dark Souls 3 in the Switch. Because that's not the Dark Souls game coming to Switch, Chad. It's not that one.
Shut up.
We have more oopsies this week. This is just the oopsies week. Lots of leaks.
Hi, welcome to Oopsies with games.
You know the game Way Out?
Oh, yeah. I'm actually really looking forward to that one.
Same here. You have to wait a long time for it, however, because apparently it's coming out in 2019.
Oh, okay.
That's what the leak says. Which I'm surprised because we heard about the game a long time ago.
No, we didn't. We saw it for the first time at E3.
They had talked about it a year before that, though.
No.
Yeah, when they showed off that game, I already knew about it.
No. You tell me some more. I'll look it up.
All right. I'm saving what I think is the weirdest story of the week, but a few more actually 2 game announcements. One is that Shin Megami Tensei 5 is coming to the West on Switch. So that's been officially announced, which is I don't play
Shin Megami Tensei 5?
Yeah, Shin Megami Tensei 5. I don't play those games, but it is Persona is a spin-off of Shin Megami Tensei 5.
Oh, I always knew they were somehow related. I should play Persona 4 Golden and Persona 5. I should play things.
Yeah, I need to play Persona 5, I feel like. I've heard just like Xenoblade Chronicles, it just takes forever to build up and get into it, but it's really engrossing and great when you do.
Just to let you know you're wrong, and the game was announced E3 2017, so...
That can't be true. I've known about that game for a while.
You haven't.
Maybe they had talked about it, like, hey, we're working on this.
Are you sure you're not thinking of the show Prison Break?
That's exactly what I was thinking about. Yeah, I'm gonna look that up at some point. I don't want to do it during the show, but I have the feeling that it was announced, not shown off beforehand. Another game announcement. This is a huge one. Not a game series that I have played, but I can recognize this as a huge announcement. Mega Man 11.
Oh, let's talk about Mega Man.
Announced for 2018. It's a 2.5D game. It's coming to PS4, Xbox One, PC, and Nintendo Switch.
Let's talk about Mega Man 11 first.
Yeah.
Of the 2 things they announced, Mega Man 11. Did you watch the trailer?
Yes, I did.
It looks like trash. I hate the art style. I hate it. It looks just like Mighty Number 9.
It does. I was just going to say that.
Shitty, cartoony, like 3D-ish sprites on a 2D level. Mm-hmm. And I hate it. I hate it.
Yeah, it doesn't look very good. Hey, who knows? The gameplay might be fun, but the whole time watching it going, this looks slow.
It looks bad. It looks like a cheap ripoff of Mega Man, which is exactly what Mighty Number 9 was. Yeah. Made by Inafune.
But if you like the older games, good news is they're also releasing all the old games next year too. Which I really think is like them saving themselves. Like, look, we know this isn't very good. It's 30th anniversary of Mega Man. We got to do something. Let's just release everything we know they're going to like as well. Yeah. You can't get mad if you release games that they like.
So they also released Mega Man. They're going to release Mega Man X 1 through 8.
Yes.
As a collection on PS4, Xbox One, and Switch. And also Mega Man Legacy 1 and 2, which were only available on PS4 and Xbox One, are also coming to Switch.
Did you play Mega Man at all? I never played Mega Man.
So here's the thing. I grew up with Mega Man. I had
grew up
Mega
with him?
Man.
Who's in your home? Was he your dad?
He was my buddy. We used to take baths together, and he would always get rusty.
He'd always take your rubber ducky, and you were like, "That's my rubber ducky."
No, see, one of the first Game Boy games, old school Game Boy games I had was Mega Man 4, and I played the shit out of that thing. Never really got very far, and then I realized I've played a lot of Mega Man over my life. And I've never beat a Mega Man game before.
They're hard, I hear.
And I own every single Mega Man PS1 classic on PS3, Vita.
You bought all of them and never beat them?
Yeah, I mean, over time they were like $2 each, and I was like, you know what?
Every gamer does that.
But it's one of those things where, like Sonic the Hedgehog, I think I like the character of Mega Man. I think he's really cool as a character.
More than the game itself.
More than I actually like playing the game.
Yeah.
And, although, no, wait, I think I finally did, there was a PSP version of Mega Man X, Mega Man Hunter X or something like that I beat, and I liked that a lot.
Well, I also just heard that they start off great. Like the early Mega Man games are awesome, and they get really bad after a while, is what I've heard.
I don't know. They're hard. They're very hard, and if you don't know the boss order. Like there are certain weapons that work really well in certain stages or on other bosses. Mm-hmm. So like they're part of the game is discovering, all right, which weapon do I use on which boss, and then beating the bosses in that order so you gain their weapons. It's like, I said everyone I was playing Mega Man Legacy Collection. I played Mega Man 2 last week, and like I don't like it. I don't like Mega Man. I don't like playing Mega Man games, but I like Mega Man, and I wish Mega Man was a cooler. I watched the cartoon.
It's amazing how powerful nostalgia is. It really is.
I know, right?
Like I might go back and play like Link to the Past and be like, this is the worst game ever made. Why did I ever think this was a good game? Who knows? It could happen one day.
Could.
I want to share this story that...
Share it.
Or I have 2 Nintendo stories
Okay.
left, and then I have 1 Microsoft story. What do you have?
I have Battlefront 2. That's it.
Okay. Let me do the Microsoft story, the Nintendo story, and then we'll come back for the last Nintendo story, which I think is really interesting, really unlike Nintendo, very bizarre. But I'm going to tease you. We're going to talk about something else less important than that first.
Cool.
Animal Crossing Pocket Camp had got downloaded onto 15 million devices, which looks really good.
Yeah.
Except it only made $10 million in 9 days. Which, if you compare that to Super Mario Run, that made $24 million in 9 days, and Fire Emblem Heroes made $33 million in the same time frame. So it's not doing too good, and I'm not surprised, because when you play the game, I've never even felt remotely incentivized to buy anything. Because you only buy Leaf tickets. I have like 400 Leaf tickets I've gotten for free, because I don't feel a need to even ever use them.
What do you use them for? What do you buy with them?
It depends. So you can
diapers?
Say if there's a diaper,
depends with them.
If there's a diaper item, yeah, you can use them to get the diapers.
I said, what do you buy with them? And you said depends. It's a brand of diaper. It's a joke. Laugh at it.
Ha ha ha.
God, learn to laugh better.
So, let's say you want to make a bench or something like that to get a certain animal to come to your camp because he wants you to have that bench before he comes over because he's the worst friend ever. That's how the game works.
I will only come to your house if you have a bench.
That's how you get all the animals in the game. Is they'll be like, I'd love to come to your camp, but I need these 3 furniture items.
But I'm a needy piece of shit.
If you don't have all like the cotton to make the bench, you can, or the like the couch or whatever, you can just pay extra Leaf tickets to just make it instead. Or if it's going to take 8 hours to build the bench and you just want Ketchup, the whatever animal that is, to come over, that's one of the animals' names, to come over, then you can pay Leaf tickets to speed up the process.
Nice.
And there's one last thing you can do is there's a place called the Quarry where you can mine certain materials that are very valuable, and you need to spend 20 Leaf tickets to go there. Or you can have 5 friends vouch for you.
Nice.
So there's just everything that would make you want to buy Leaf tickets, there's some alternative way of doing it. So I'm not surprised. And it's to your point, which you said earlier, the drop-off I have heard is pretty huge on it. And I think it's just because it's not as good of an Animal Crossing as the main games are.
We'll probably still see a Switch version coming soon?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. There are things that the Switch version can learn from this, like the friend leveling system and all that is fantastic. But and this has been said so many times in other sites, but I think this is worthwhile to mention, all the characters generally just say the same things as each other with a certain like little quip at the beginning of it and then the same canned dialogue, what's made the game so fun and charming is that every character is unique in their own way, and they all have their own little personality, and some of that's kind of lost. I think it's totally salvageable. It's still fun. Like, they're still doing events. Like, there's special Christmas items you can get because it's Christmas, and you have to get candy canes in order to make them. Like, they're having fun with it still. So I'm still going to play it every once in a while, but it's definitely totally just a tease for the Switch version, which hopefully comes next year. Cross my fingers.
I hope so, because people seem to like it. So I want the Switch to succeed.
Then I want to get to this news about Microsoft, which I think is super interesting.
It's
super vague. So the Microsoft CEO, Satya Nadella, in a shareholders meeting announced that they're broadening their approach to gaming. He was pretty vague about it. Yeah. But he basically said that, and this is a quote, mobilizing to pursue an expansive opportunity in $100+ billion gaming market. I think he means in dollars, obviously, 100 million people. 100.
That sounds like a whole lot of nothing that he just said.
Exactly. But then he said, we are wanting to look at how games are created and distributed and how they're played and viewed. And what I think he's hinting at is a cloud-based system where your box is just connected to a server where the actual game is being processed.
Well, that actually follows in line with what we reported on about. We obviously reported on it. Great.
We reported.
No,
we did all the research.
No, whenever they had mentioned, I think it was about a month or two ago, they had said that within 3 years they want some kind of cloud gaming service.
Yeah. Yep. I think that's what they're kind of going for. And that, I had this crazy crackpot theory that's attached to that, which is not for right now.
You should really stop doing crack.
I can't stop doing crack.
Crack is whack.
Nope, I disagree with that. Crack is awesome. It's not.
Okay.
I was trying to think of a witty thing to say, but I couldn't,
everyone.
It's couldn't think of anything witty. So those are just two news stories. I want to talk more about that Microsoft thing at a later date, because I think that's some interesting potential for the future of gaming and all that stuff. But
cool.
What's happening with Battlefront 2?
Battlefront 2, you guys, just another little pebble into this game that
it's been very well regarded.
I don't know if we ever talked about this, about like the sales, like the physical sales has been super down.
Oh, really?
Over the previous installation. I mean, some of that could be accounted for with, rise of digital sales, but likely not all of it. But anyway, so the big hullabaloo about it, I'm going to find a different word for that. The big hullabaloo for now.
Hullabaloo is a great word.
Yeah, but I've used it so many times on this podcast. About it was
it's like
the
your
amount
thing.
of credits
it's like
it takes to unlock
dynamite.
shit. You're a dynamite.
Dynamite.
The amount of credits it takes to unlock things was ridiculous, and it encouraged the loot boxes, which is why loot boxes are
They just wanted to reward players for their time and effort.
Well, they are now rewarding players with more credits for things like arcade mode. It used to be capped at 500 credits. Now it's 1,500 credits per day. You get more payout for certain things. The better you are in the match, the more credits you'll get now as well. So they still have not reintroduced microtransactions where you could pay real money, but they have now increased the amount of stuff you can do. So they're trying to get people back. They've got the DLC coming out for Last Jedi this month as well. So
yeah, I'll tell you why they're doing this now. It's not because people aren't buying. They're floundering. Do you hear how badly their stock has dropped?
Yes.
Last week it was $3 billion. This week it's dropped $6 billion, which is, I think it's only like 6% or something like that of their overall valuation. That's still concerning when that happens.
Yeah,
2
absolutely.
weeks because of one game. So I think they want to fix this, but I hope they do fix it, because I don't obviously wish any developer or company goes down. I think they should learn from their mistakes here, which I'm reluctant to think they actually will. But we'll see. I pray for them, Chad. I pray for them.
Dear Lord, turn me into a bird so I can fly far, far away from here. Tweet at SplitScreenGP if you know what movie that is, and I will draw you a picture of
that movie.
I will draw you a picture of that movie with some video game references in it, and then I'll tweet it back at you. That's true. If you do that, the first person who gets the movie correct and tweets
obvious
it at
that movie
SplitScreenGP, I'll do it.
The movie is so obvious.
No, it's not. Shut up.
I'm terrible at the guess this movie from this one quote.
We're trying to drive our listener interaction, and you're sitting there shitting all over them. Oh, you don't.
All I'm saying is you're gonna have to draw a lot of pictures.
No, I'm saying the first person who tweets it successfully at SplitScreenGP.
I think you do it for every person who does it. I'm like, you're gonna be drawing many pictures. I almost ruined the name of the movie, but I didn't, because
all right,
I respect our listeners. I think this is the most interesting story of the week. Mostly because I'm a huge Nintendo fan, but also because I think this is a really interesting story.
Okay.
Have you heard of this Nintendo-NVIDIA partnership?
Oh my God, yes! I thought I added this to my news stories link.
This is so interesting. So they're partnering to put HD versions, Nintendo and NVIDIA are partnering to put HD versions of the Wii and GameCube games on the NVIDIA Shield specifically for China. And the games are, they've said so far, are Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess, Super Mario Galaxy, New Super Mario Bros. Wii, and Punch-Out. I thought Punch-Out was not a choice out of those three games before it were like huge, great, amazing games, and then Punch-Out, which is still a good game, I'm sure. They're going to cost $10 each, and they're going to be on the NVIDIA Shield. But again, they're HD versions of the games.
That's what freaking, that means that Nintendo has been working on HD assets for these games.
Yes.
It means that they've been working on a solution.
Are they up-res or are they remasters? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
they've also been working on a solution to what do we do about these motion controls, because now it works with a controller.
Yep.
I hope this means... Now, there have been plenty of times when these things like the Metal Gear Solid remastered, Snake Eater shit was only for a pachinko machine in Japan or something stupid like that from Konami. But... I hope this
Nintendo doesn't waste money like that, though.
We might see, these might be on Virtual Console one day soon on Switch.
Well,
please.
it's not like it hasn't been talked about. Like, one of the big rumors around Virtual Console on Switch has been it's going to have GameCube games.
Yeah.
And I can't imagine them holding back Virtual Console for this long and then just say the same games we've always had at Virtual Console games now are available. Like, I feel like they're going to have to have something big, and what's bigger than an HD upwards version of Super Mario Galaxy you can play on your Switch.
Ba, 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 ba.
But I think you hit the nail on the head with they're figuring out controller options for some of these games, because one of them is also rumored to be Metroid Prime 3. That game absolutely does not work without motion controls unless they change the code. They're not going to change the code for just one market. Like, they want to make as much money off of that stuff as possible because it's Nintendo, and everyone knows they love making money. They're very greedy in that way.
That's why they made the gamepad.
But $10 each for these games, I have a feeling it's a China only thing, and here's why. China had a 15-year ban on game consoles unless the console was made in China. So I think this is kind of like Nintendo saying, hey, we need to get people reintroduced to some of these games that came out over the past 15 years.
To get them hooked on the Switch.
To get hooked on the Switch, which is what they're releasing next year. So I think that $10 price will probably go up to like $20 or so. Because Super Mario Galaxy 2 was $20 on the Wii U when you bought that. But it was $10 initially for like the first 2 weeks or something like that.
Yeah.
But I think that's just to kind of entice people, like, hey, please buy these games and try them out, because we really want to get your money from the Switch, where we don't want to make money off of these. This is like an advertisement for us, basically. But I am so excited about that. It's really weird and strange that you're going to have Nintendo games on a non-Nintendo system. I think that's the thing that people haven't been talking about too much. I think it's super bizarre that you just don't see that, minus like the iOS games. But these are games that were made like specifically for the Wii.
Yeah.
They're not making games specifically for the Shield. It's interesting, but I think it's actually a smart move considering they want to get into that market. So
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest story of the week, I think. That's awesome. That's so cool. But there's some awesome coming up on Thursday, I believe.
Oh my god!
The Game Awards.
Thursday. Thursday.
We're going to the Game Awards, and we were going to run through the nominations and kind of not necessarily what we think is the best game, but what we think will win. Like what other
do we
people
think based on the industry and things like that. So we have all the nominees up for all the different categories, and we'll just go like from things that don't matter to us, and we're just going to totally throw away. By the way, I'm on the official GameAwards.com
Same
website.
here.
With
I'm on the list.
Start at the bottom of the list.
I'm going to go to the bottom up. You want to go bottom up?
Yeah. Right now I'm looking at best Chinese game.
I have a great opinion. We should mark down which one we think it's going to make it. I'll take a screenshot of which game we think, and then we'll compare it.
Okay, I just want to let you know, there is been confirmed by Jeff Keighley that the Schick Hydro Man will not be at this year's Game Awards.
The Schick Hydro Man?
Did you watch last year's Game Awards?
Yeah, I did. I don't remember that though. Probably because
you don't remember the giant fucking razor walking around, and they interviewed him, and it was ridiculous.
Oh my gosh, that's right.
And they played video games with, and there was a Schick Hydro Man game. It was ridiculous.
They get crap for like having things like this. The best esports player award presented by Omen by HP. Like,
yep,
having these sponsored. Like, this is my favorite one. One of their categories is most anticipated game presented by McCafe. I will only be anticipated by a game that's presented by McCafe. Is it most anticipated game or most anticipated game presented by McCafe? Because those are two very different things.
Yep.
Okay, so let's start off with this.
Let's start with that. Aside from Chinese game, we'll do. I mean, I don't know. Best Chinese game. Let's fucking talk about it.
Let's just do it. So we have Monument
Valley 2.
You go for it.
No, we're gonna say them at the exact same time with each other.
No.
Okay. Monument Valley 2, JX3 HD.
Ooh, HD this time.
Gumballs.
Ooh, Gumballs.
Icy, spelled ICEY, or King of Glory.
Well, based on my very vast knowledge of the Chinese gaming industry.
Well, also just to let you know, this one is fan voted, not chosen by the panel of outlets.
Well, in that case, then
wrench in there.
It must be Gumballs.
Must be.
What other one could it be? No,
Monument Valley 2 is the only one that anyone knows on that list. But
yeah,
I don't know. I don't
maybe
live
in Japan, JX3 HD. Oh, yeah, China. Maybe in China, JX3 HD is huge. They made an HD version of the game. I mean, it must have huge demand behind it.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say Monument Valley 2 because it's the only one.
You're exactly right.
Yeah. All right. So I'm taking a screenshot of that. That way we have that and you can remember it. So now we're going to do debut indie game presented by Schick Hydro.
I think it's important that we read the descriptions for these two. So what the best debut indie game means.
Oh, I don't have a description. It's on mobile. I'm on the mobile site, so I don't see that.
I'm on the iPad version, so I'll read them. I'll read the categories then. You can read the nominees.
Yeah.
Best debut indie game, recognizing a new independent studio that released its first game in 2017. So this is the first game the studio released.
Oh, wait, the developers don't have to use Schick Hydro whenever they shave? That's not a stipulation?
No, but the characters do. They have to feature the razor prominently in their games.
So here we go. We have Slime Rancher, Mr. Shifty, Hollow Knight, Golf Story, and Cuphead.
I think this one's a no-brainer.
Cuphead?
Cuphead.
Yeah, I agree. Cuphead.
Absolutely.
I like Mr. Shifty, but Cuphead has been talked about so much. Everyone loves that game.
It's fucking perfect. It's perfect. And it's not going to win a lot of other things because we've had such a stellar year that I think this is one of the rooms where it gets its shout out.
I do think Golf Story might have a chance because I hear IGN talk about that game nonstop. I hear other outlets talk about the game nonstop. They like it a lot, but I think you're right. I think Cup Story is the bigger pick there. Cuphead. Did I say Cup Story?
You did.
Cup Story.
All right. Next one, best esports team. I have never heard of any of these, but we're going to pick the one that I think sounds best.
Is there a description?
This is the esports team judged to be the most outstanding for performance in 2017, inclusive of multi-team organizations. So outstanding for performance, which means who won the most?
Team Liquid, SK Telecom 1, Lunatic High, Fazi Clan, I think that's what it is, and Cloud9. I've actually heard of Cloud9 before.
It's a saying. I'm on Cloud9 right now.
I know, but I've also heard of them as an esports league.
I'm gonna say Cloud9's gonna win, and here's why. Because their performance in creating a logo looks cool. They have 3 9s that all meet in the center, and it looks like a Hydra.
Mm-hmm. It looks also
Schick
like a
Hydro.
cloud.
Schick Hydra.
Oh, and but they're not sponsored by That's the Indie Games.
Sold out, man.
We're gonna have a lot to say for the next two.
Yeah, next two. So here's the thing, guys. Shut up. We don't know anything about esports, so we're not gonna guess the best esports player. We're gonna skip that one. Best esports game. Okay, maybe we might have an opinion about this one.
Okay.
For the game that has delivered the best overall esports experience to players, inclusive of tournaments, community support, and content updates, irrespective of genre or platform.
We have Rocket League, League of Legends, Dota 2, Counter-Strike Global Offensive, and Overwatch.
So here's the thing. Overwatch started its own league and has been like huge in like recruiting players from other countries to join teams, like requiring people to have health benefits and things like that. I think that's a huge win for esports as a genre.
Mm-hmm. I don't have too much of an opinion here. I would just say League of Legends because I hear the most about that one.
Yeah.
But I don't know. What do you think? You're thinking Overwatch?
Well, for the game that has delivered the best overall esports experience to players, I'm going to say having fucking a union that you must have a minimum income and you must have housing and health insurance. I'm going to say Overwatch, man.
Is that really a thing?
Yeah.
For League of Legends? That's crazy. All right.
No, for Overwatch.
Oh, for Overwatch? Oh, I see. Gotcha. Okay.
Cool.
Yeah. Next one.
Trending gamer. For a streamer, influencer, or media member who has made an important impact on the industry this calendar year. We have... Go. You read them.
Steven Spawn. Is it Spawn? Spoon? Spawn? Mike Gretzky? I don't know. Guy Beam. Clint Lexa. And Andrea Wren. I actually know Andrea Wren. Not personally, but
it's Andrea Renee.
Renee.
Andrea Renee. So it's also important to know who these people are. So Steven is from Able Gamers, which is for gamers with handicaps and things like that, and finding ways to make games more accessible. Mike Grzysek, also known as Shroud. I guess he's an esports player from his profile picture there. Guy Beam, Dr. Disrespect is what he's most known as.
I like this guy.
YouTuber.
You guys can't see his picture, but he's got like a mullet wig on. He's got this crazy mustache, sunglasses, and he just has $100 bill stacks behind him.
Yeah,
I like this guy.
I've heard of him. I've never
heard
seen
of him
any of his
before.
stuff, but apparently he's hilarious.
I haven't heard of any people besides Andrea.
Andrea
I said
Renee.
Andrea. Shut up.
Clint Lexa from quote unquote Half Coordinated. And then Andrea Renee from What's Good Games, which has really taken off this year too. Here's what I
haven't
think
heard of that at all.
Steven Spoon. I'm gonna say Spoon. It's SPOHN.
Mm-hmm.
I just like Spoon.
Spoon.
No, I think Able Gamers is a really amazing organization, and he's really been in. I feel like I've heard of him a lot more this year, and he's really been outspoken about accessibility in games, and I think it's time that his site, Able Gamers, got recognized, which is really cool. So that's going to be my vote of who should win.
I take it down. I don't know any of those people, so you seem to know more about them, so we'll stick with that.
Well, also this is fan voted, not industry voted. So it all depends on who has a bigger fan base and whether or not they vote.
Next category.
Best student game. Have you heard of any of these? I have not.
Nope, not a single one of these.
Let's fucking skip it. This isn't interesting to people if we don't know anything. Okay, here we go. Best independent game for outstanding creative and technical achievement in a game made outside the traditional publisher system.
We have Pyre from Supergiant Games, Night in the Woods, Infinite Fall, Cuphead by Studio MDHR, What Remains of Edith Finch, Giant Sparrow and Purina Interactive, and Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice by Ninja Theory.
This one is actually really tough.
It is. When I got to the last one, I'm thinking it's Hellblade, man. Hellblade was great, but I saw this thing about What Remains of Edith Finch, and I saw this certain level in the game, and it blew my mind to the point where I'm like, I need to play this.
What Remains of Edith Finch is amazing.
You played it?
Yeah, we
Okay.
talked about it on the podcast. It's
That's right, we did.
amazing.
It was this level where like you're chopping these fish heads and then you're daydreaming.
Yep.
At the same time, and the level starts as you're daydreaming, starts to take over the whole thing, and that looks incredible.
Yep.
That looks absolutely amazing.
You're like using your two joysticks. One of them you're moving your character through this world, while the other one you're like chopping fish heads and shit like that. On the like, it's amazing. But Pyre, also Supergiant Games, from the makers of Bastion and
Transistor.
like that. I didn't play that a lot, but a lot of people loved that game this year. Cuphead, obviously a fucking.
I've also heard good things about Night in the Woods, but I haven't heard as much about it. And keep in mind, this is now where we're in jury reviews, and the jury are gaming outlets like IGN, like Easy Allies, Game Informer, like GameSpot, all those kind of people, internationally as well. So I think we really should base this off of which one we've heard the most about. And I think the ones we've heard most about is Hellblade and Cuphead.
Yeah, I think it's going to go to Hellblade here.
Yeah, I think so too. So screenshot.
It's definitely Cuphead and Hellblade are definitely going to be like the two biggest ones.
Yeah, I think Hellblade's going to get a lot of awards.
Most anticipated game presented by McDonald's. Awarded to an upcoming game that has shown significant ambition and promise. Title must be announced and scheduled for release after December 7th, 2017.
That's interesting because some of these aren't even scheduled to be released. We know they will come out, obviously, but like Last of Us Part 2 is the first one. When the hell is that game coming out?
Right.
So,
it doesn't necessarily mean coming in 2018.
Yeah. Last of Us Part 2, Red Dead Redemption 2, Monster Hunter World, Marvel's Spider-Man, and God of War. Personally, for me, it's Last of Us Part 2, but I don't think that's going to win this.
No. Here's what it's going to be. It's going to be Red Dead Redemption 2.
I think so too, yeah.
For two reasons. One, it's fucking Rockstar.
Yep. The first one was a huge surprise, and it was amazing. Right. Well, not a surprise, but like, yeah.
3 out of the 5 of these games are PlayStation exclusive, which immediately segments your audience of people who are voting to only PlayStation fans.
Oh, good.
Whereas
good
Red
point.
Dead Redemption is multi-platform, so everyone can
Actually,
vote for
it's
that
funny. All of these are PlayStation exclusives. Is Monster Hunter PlayStation exclusive, or is that on Xbox One as well?
That's coming to Xbox One as well.
2 of these games are also coming to Xbox One. That's not great. All right, so yeah, I will agree with you. Red Dead Redemption 2. I won't fight you on that one.
Best multiplayer for outstanding online multiplayer gameplay and design, including co-op and massively multiplayer experiences, irrespective of game genre.
Fortnite by Epic Games, Call of Duty World War II, Sledgehammer, Splatoon 2 by Nintendo, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. It's a remake. That shouldn't be on here. Destiny 2 by Bungie, and Player Unknown's Battlegrounds by PUBG. That's absolutely going to get this.
Since it is nominated for Game of the Year, I don't think it's going to get Game of the Year, but this is definitely where it gets its nod for best multiplayer experience.
Yeah, it's also the most unique multiplayer experience to come out this year.
Yeah, I think it's adorable that they nominated Splatoon 2.
I love Splatoon 2. That is such a good game.
I know.
I like it more than Mario Kart this year. I played way more Splatoon than Mario Kart.
Well, good for you. It's because you played a lot on the Wii and you got exhausted.
Back
when you only had one item.
Mm-hmm.
Best sports/racing game for the best traditional and non-traditional sports and racing game.
All right. We have Project Cars 2 by Slightly Mad Studios, Bandai Namco Entertainment. We have Pro Evolution Soccer 2018 by Pez Productions and Konami. Can't believe they're still making games. Our people still like them. NBA 2K18, Visual Concepts and 2K Sports. GT Sport, which is not a sports game, it's a racing game, just to be clear. That's by Polyphony Digital. Sony. Oh my god, they totally have a typo here. It's Sony Interactive. That's totally a typo. That's hilarious. And then we have Forza Motorsport 7, Turn 10 Studios by Microsoft Studios, and FIFA 18, EA Vancouver, EA. I don't have much of a say in this one because I don't play a lot of sports games.
Well, I think NBA 2K18 and Forza Motorsport 7, they have a lot of bad. They had a lot of bad press surrounding them.
That's true.
Due to microtransactions and loot boxes. Mm-hmm. So I think that they are probably not going to be voted like this is the best of the year. Project Cars 2 didn't get a whole lot of fanfare, but apparently it was like a huge improvement over the first one. Everyone loved it.
Mm-hmm. And GT Sport always gets, or Gran Turismo games in general always get good reviews.
Yeah.
I would say GT Sport.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go with GT Sport 2. I think that's going to win. Best strategy game. Best game focused on real-time or turn-based strategy gameplay, irrespective of platform.
XCOM 2, War of the Chosen by Fire Axis Games, 2K. Tooth and Tail, Pocket Watch Games. Total War, Warhammer 2 by Creative Assembly, Sega. Halo Wars 2, Creative Assembly plus 343, Microsoft Studios. Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle, Ubisoft Paris plus Milan from Ubisoft.
People really fucking love Total War Warhammer 2.
It's not going to be Halo Wars 2. I remember there being some bad stuff about that. I haven't even heard of Tooth and Tail. Like, not even a little bit. Like, I've heard of Total War before. I don't know. I think it's not going to be XCOM because that's just a DLC pack, I believe. It's not even, it's just an expansion. It's not even a full game. And Mario Rabbids got good reviews, but didn't necessarily get, like, amazing, stellar, awesome reviews.
I think it surprised a lot of people, but I don't know if it would be the best strategy game that came out this year. But there are people love Total War Warhammer 2, so that's my vote of what not my vote for best, but my vote for what wins.
What will win? Yeah, I think you're spot on there. Next category.
All right, this category is kind of stupid, but here we go. Best family game. For
best
the best
Nintendo game, basically.
Here's the description. For the best game appropriate for family play, irrespective of genre or platform.
Funny, irrespective of platform or genre. A platform, even though they're all on Nintendo Switch. Splatoon 2 from Nintendo. Sonic Mania from Patagonia West Games, Headcanon and Sega. Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle, Ubisoft Paris plus Milan, Ubisoft. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe from Nintendo, and Super Mario Odyssey from Nintendo. Super Mario Odyssey.
No. Game appropriate for family play. Like the entire family getting around and playing in the living room. None of these fit except for Super Mario Kart. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe.
Snipper Clips should be on here.
Shut up.
No, seriously,
Shut up.
That's an awesome game. Yeah, that's a good point, because Mario Rabbids, not really multiplayer. Mario Kart is the only one. You're totally right. And actually, my dad got my brother a Switch really just so he could play Mario Kart with the family.
Yeah. I mean, that's why I jumped on the Switch early enough, was to play with my family.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's do Mario Kart 8. I think Mario Odyssey is the best game among those.
Each of these has some kind of multiplayer component, whether like Mario Odyssey, you are playing as the hat, or I think there was something in Rabbids. Yeah, there was like a co-op mode in Rabbids.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, obviously Mario Kart 8. Best fighting game for the best game designed primarily around head-to-head combat.
We have Tekken 7 from Bandai Namco Studios, Needhog 2 for Mesoff Games, Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite from Capcom, Injustice 2 from NetherRealm Studios, ARMS from Nintendo. Not ARMS.
No, not ARMS, not Marvel
I like
vs.
ARMS,
Capcom.
not ARMS.
I think this one hands down goes to Injustice 2.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep, game freaking rules, great story, awesome gameplay mechanics, and fucking
Really good
Ninja
facial
Turtles.
animation. Really good facial
the facial animations, yeah.
So not that makes the fighting game, but it was surprisingly great.
Best role-playing game for the best game designed with rich player character customization and progression, including massively multiplayer experiences.
South Park: The Fractured Butthole.
Oh god, I love that game.
Ubisoft San Francisco. Final Fantasy 15. I thought that was last year, but I guess
It came out after their cutoff, yeah.
Yeah. Divinity: Original Sin 2, Nier Automata, and Persona 5. I think this is between Persona 5 and Divinity: Original Sin 2.
I think it's going to be Persona 5.
I think so. I think those are the two big ones.
I think it's another one of those hey, we need to give it a nod, and it's not going to win Game of the Year, but it's really close.
Yeah.
So this is where it gets its due. Best role-playing game.
Yep.
Best action-adventure game. For the best action-adventure game, combining combat with traversal and puzzle solving.
We have Uncharted: The Lost Legacy from Naughty Dog, Assassin's Creed Origins, The Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild, Super Mario Odyssey, and Horizon Zero Dawn. Horizon Zero Dawn's going to win this one.
Oh, man, that's tough. Combining combat with traversal and puzzle solving. That's so weird, because I don't know if I would consider that an action-adventure. I mean, I guess it's an action-adventure game.
But Mario's also not really an action-adventure game.
Yeah.
It's a platforming game.
People have also been all up Assassin's Creed Origins' butt since it came out, too.
I think you're underestimating how well-reviewed Horizon Zero Dawn was.
Don't get me wrong.
I know you love that
game.
game.
Love that game.
I'm pretty sure Horizon Zero Dawn, and I think this is a fair metric, is in the top 25 games of all time on Metacritic.
Yeah.
Which means the reviewers give it good reviews. And those outlets that reviewed on Metacritic are the ones who are the juries on this board.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to go to Horizon Zero Dawn.
Yeah, I think you've convinced me. Horizon Zero Dawn. That's what they're going to vote for.
Because I don't think it's going to win Best of the Game of the Year either. And this is kind of all right, let's give it a bone because it's an incredible game and we want to make sure it has its award.
Best action game. For the best game in the action genre focused on combat.
We have Prey from Arcane, Neo from Team Ninja, Destiny 2, Bungie, Cuphead, Studio MDHR, Wolfenstein 2, Machine Games, Bethesda. I think this one's going to go to Neo or Wolfenstein.
I'm thinking Wolfenstein 2. I'm thinking because Wolfenstein 2, if you look at the reviews for that game, the fact that it hasn't been mentioned more is incredible based on the reviews that it's gotten. From story to gameplay, everything about it. And I think this is where, again, it gets its nod.
I don't know. Neo got incredibly good reviews, super stellar reviews. Yeah. Near perfect scores.
All right.
What do you?
I think they're going to go Wolfenstein. You think
so?
They're going to go Neo?
I think this is the first time we're going to diverge.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking Neo. So I'm going to take 2 screenshots then. One for Neo, and then one for Wolfenstein. I'll write this down later.
Best VR/AR game for the best game experience playable in virtual or augmented reality, irrespective of platform.
Super Hot VR, Star Trek Bridge Crew, Lone Echo Arena, Farpoint, Resident Evil 7 Biohazard. That's it.
Resident Evil 7 Biohazard. Yep.
Yeah, it's the only full-fledged,
amazing, completely fleshed out game.
It's also just a really good game.
Yeah.
Without the VR as well.
If anything were to come close, Super Hot VR.
Yeah, that's probably my favorite VR experience I've experienced.
Yeah.
Yet.
Best handheld game for the best game playable on a dedicated portable gaming system.
AKA the best game on a Nintendo 3DS.
Exactly, yep.
We have Poochie and Yoshi's Woolly World, Monster Hunter Stories, Metroid Samus Returns, Ever Oasis, Fire Emblem Echoes Shadow of Valentia.
Metroid Samus Returns.
Yep, it was fantastic. It's a really good game.
I feel like Poochie and Yoshi's Woolly World got meh reviews. Monster Hunter Stories, that was the weird like
it's like an RPG version
one of it. Yeah.
Ever Oasis, it got decent reviews, and then Fire Emblem, I don't think that was reviewed as well as the.
It's because they all blend together and nobody fucking cares.
No, they're huge games.
I know. All right, best mobile game. For the best game playable on a dedicated mobile device.
We have Fire Emblem Heroes, because no one cares about that game. We have Super Mario Run, Old Man's Journey, Monument Valley 2, Hidden Folks. I don't know why. Monument Valley 2, I feel like kind of got forgotten.
Yeah?
Yeah, I actually never even beat it, which is a shame because the first one's one of my favorite mobile games.
I feel like Fire Emblem Heroes is so far the best example of taking a game and making it a mobile version.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Monument Valley also like
this
critically
is a tough one. I haven't heard of Hidden Folks.
I haven't either. It looks like Where's Waldo.
I've heard of Old Man's Journey. I've seen it in the App Store, but I've not played that before, so I don't know too much about it. But I hear a lot about Fire Emblem Heroes. I'm just basing this off of what people have been saying in the industry.
Yeah, I'm going to say Fire Emblem Heroes.
I will agree with you there.
Best ongoing game, awarded to a game for outstanding development of ongoing content that evolves the player experience over time.
We have Warframe from Digital Extremes, Rainbow Six Siege, Ubisoft Montreal, Overwatch from Blizzard, Grand Theft Auto Online, Rockstar Games, Destiny 2, Bungie, and PlayerUnknown's Battleground, PUBG. I don't think PUBG's going to get this one.
No?
I don't think so.
I think it's between Overwatch and Grand Theft Auto Online.
I would agree with you there. I would lean more towards Overwatch because that game, it won Game of the Year last year.
It did, yeah.
And it's maintained its momentum.
It's added in new modes and characters and yeah. All right. I mean, Grand Theft Auto Online also, of course, is fucking dominating, but it's been out for 5 years.
And there's also there was more talk this year of them shutting it down. There was stories of them shutting Grand Theft Auto Online down, not because it's not doing great, but just because it's going to end eventually.
Yeah. Overwatch. Okay, I'll agree with that. Games for impact, for a thought-provoking game with a profound pro-social meaning or message.
All right, so we have Please Knock on My Door from Laval Games, Night in the Woods from Infinite Fall, Life is Strange, Before the Storm, Deck 9, Bury Me, My Love, The Pixel Hunt, What Remains of Edith Finch from Giant Sparrow, and Hellblade, Senua's Sacrifice, Ninja Theory. I think it's
Hellblade, yeah.
Yeah.
What it does for mental illness in video games and bringing up that discussion.
Also, too, is when everyone talked about that game, they talked about how it brought up a discussion around mental illness.
Exactly.
And, that's also the major purpose of that game. Now, these other games don't focus on issues as well, but I feel like that's what the whole conversation around Hellblade was, and Hellblade was amazing.
Yeah.
Great game.
Nailed it. Best performance, awarded to an individual for voiceover acting, motion, and or performance capture.
I want to mess up some names here. All right, we have Melina Jurgens from Hellblade playing Senua. We have Laura Bailey from Uncharted Lost Legacy playing Nadine Ross. We have Claudia Black from Uncharted Lost Legacy playing Chloe Fraser. Brian Bloom, who is in Wolfenstein 2 as BJ, is it Blazkowicz?
Yep.
And then Ashley Birch from Horizon Zero Dawn as Aloy. I think it's
Senua from Hellblade again.
Yeah, I agree absolutely.
I think what
her
makes
performance sold the game.
Yeah, and I think what makes it even more impressive is that she's not an actress, and it was just a person as a stand-in who worked at the company. Yeah, and they're like, "Hey, can we just have you stand in for a moment until we get an actress?" And then they're like, "Oh wait, no, you're amazing." And I mean, all of these people are great, but yeah, Hellblade, Senua, definitely,
absolutely, yeah.
Melina Jurgens. I hope she goes on to do more stuff because she's great. Best audio design. Recognizing the best in-game audio and sound design. So this is different from like soundtrack. This is audio design.
Yeah. We have Destiny 2 from Bungie, Hellblade Senua's Sacrifice Ninja Theory, Resident Evil 7 Biohazard, The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild from Nintendo, Super Mario Odyssey from Nintendo. I'm gonna say Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice.
I know, right? Hellblade's
Yeah.
gonna sweep some of these awards. The fucking binaural audios, that the whispering and constant. Oh my god, yeah, that game.
It's mandatory for the game. Like, I love the nature sounds of Breath of the Wild,
Yep.
but I can also turn that stuff off and play the game just fine. I need those sounds in Hellblade to play.
You know
the
what
game.
else is mandatory? It's mandatory that everyone listening to this go right now and play Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice.
Here's how good it is. When that game came out, Chad's like, "I'm just gonna buy it for you, Holden. That way you
Yep.
can play this game because we have to talk about it. It's so amazing. Like, it's a mandatory game. I've never seen Chad react like that to a game before."
Yep, fantastic.
Thank
Best
you, by the way.
score
It's a great
slash
game.
music. You're welcome. Best score slash music for outstanding music, inclusive of score, original song, and/or licensed soundtrack.
We have Destiny 2 from Bungie. We have Cuphead from Studio MDHR, Nier Automata from Platinum Games, The Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild from Nintendo, Super Mario Odyssey from Nintendo, and Persona 5 from Atlas. These are tougher because you don't really hear them talk about game soundtracks a lot. I have heard a lot of people like the songs from Super Mario Odyssey a lot, but was that the best game soundtrack in?
Right. Here are my two. Cuphead.
Yep.
The fact that the soundtrack is so much a part of the character and life of that game, from the barbershop quartets and things like that, and the old timey cartoon music, like that is one of the features that sells that game.
Yeah.
But two, Destiny 2, man, that soundtrack, that was one of the biggest differences I noticed when I played Destiny 2 over Destiny 1. Is like there are so many moments when I bought multiple songs from that soundtrack while I was listening to it. From the finale, or the first time that you lose all of your shit and you just have a gun and no ghost, and like the soundtrack as you're going through, climbing up this mountain and fighting these beasts. It has some epic, amazing things in there that give you the feels.
Do you know what game I'm really surprised is on this list?
What?
Is Zelda Breath of the Wild. Because there's points in the game where there's no music. And they talk about that, like, one of the things we like with this game is there's parts with no music in it. Best soundtrack. Yeah, we'll do Destiny 2. I think that...
I think it's Destiny 2, man.
Let's do it.
Best art
Did you
direction.
see that? I said something bad about Zelda.
I heard that.
Are you amazed?
No. I'm proud. Best art direction for outstanding creative and/or technical achievement in artistic design and animation.
Destiny 2, again. Destiny 2 is on this list a lot.
But it's not winning a lot.
It's not winning a lot, but it's here a lot. Cuphead from Studio MDHR. The Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild. Persona 5 from Atlas. And Horizon Zero Dawn from Guerrilla Games. Wait, did they spell interactive right this time? They did. They spelled interactive. Detective. For direction,
Cuphead.
best art. Yeah, absolutely. The game centers on that. Absolutely.
There's nothing like it out there. I mean, Horizon Zero Dawn is fucking gorgeous, and like the design of all of the beasts and the tribes and the environments are amazing. But Cuphead.
If you're talking about art direction, not graphics, Breath of the Wild has some amazing art direction.
Yeah, all the watercolor shit.
Oh yeah, it looks amazing. Looks so good. But I think Cuphead, again, like every time you hear about Cuphead, they immediately bring up the art direction of that game.
Yeah.
Immediately.
It's synonymous with that game.
This game looks really gorgeous and kicks my ass.
Yep.
Those are the two things you hear in that order.
Best narrative for outstanding storytelling and narrative development in a game.
So we have What Remains of Edith Finch from Giant Sparrow, Nier Automata from Platinum Games, Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice, Ninja Theory, Wolfenstein 2, Machine Games, and Horizon Zero Dawn, Guerrilla Games. I think this one's going to be between Hellblade and What Remains of Edith Finch.
Really?
I think so, yeah.
You don't think Horizon Zero Dawn's in there at all?
I'm not saying it's not in there at all. I just think those are the top two to be selected from that.
What Remains of Edith Finch was like, I mean, it's an interesting story, but it felt like it was 12 stories that had like an interesting through line through all of them.
I think the part of it, though, is how the gameplay interacts with the story. And Hellblade does that in spades. And just from that one thing I saw of What Remains of Edith Finch, I've never seen a game in story mesh in that way before.
Yeah.
And I think that's what might speak more to the jurors. Everyone who has played Horizon Zero Dawn says the highlight is the story of that game.
Yeah.
But is the way the story presented any different than stories have been presented in open world RPGs?
That's a good
before?
argument. Yeah. Like Horizon Zero Dawn takes every type of storytelling, like environmental storytelling, audio logs, text logs, traditional like cutscenes, and it nails all of those. But you're right. What Remains of Edith Finch and Hellblade completely like turn that on its head and pioneer something new and amazing.
Yeah, I would say Hellblade just because it gets talked about more often.
Yeah.
That's my pick.
Yeah, another one for Hellblade. Lost another loan to Ditech. Remember that? Ditech?
No, I don't know what you're talking about.
I mean, it's like a 20 years ago commercial. Best Game Direction. Awarded to a game studio for outstanding creative vision and innovation in game direction and design.
We have Wolfenstein 2 from Machine Games, Resident Evil 7 Biohazard from Capcom, The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild from Nintendo, Super Mario Odyssey from Nintendo, and Horizon Zero Dawn from Guerrilla Games. I think the two ones here are going to be Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild and Horizon Zero Dawn. And I think the reasoning is that Zelda did a lot of unique things in the open world genre and is kind of lauded for its unique, like a lot of the talk I've heard about this game has been its unique approach and how they went forward with making the game.
Yeah.
Like the tools they made for their developers. I think the argument for Horizon Zero Dawn is that company had no business making a game like that and they nailed it.
I think it comes down to between Zelda and Mario.
You think?
Yeah, Zelda obviously because game direction, creative vision and innovation. The fact that you can get anywhere 100 different types of ways, and everything in the environment is climbable, and you can chop down a tree and get across the thing, or you can increase your swimming stamina and get across the thing. Like to take that game and completely turn it on its head and make something and try something new and be so successful at it, regardless of how boring it was, I think was a feat in itself. But also Super Mario Odyssey, the fact that they have these game worlds that aren't necessarily enormous, but they have 60
so much
moons with so many amazing packed challenges in them.
Yeah, and they're also so unique in how you get so many of them.
Yeah, I think Breath of the Wild probably, though, takes this one.
Yeah, I think that regardless of what your opinions are on Breath of the Wild, I don't think you can deny that in 5 years we will see games that really try to go after that style of open world.
Yeah.
I think that's, even if you don't like the game, I think that's something that you can at least acknowledge. It's going to be something that's copied or at least mimicked in a heavy way.
Yeah.
So I will agree with
Finally,
you there.
wrapping up with Game of the Year. Recognizing a game that delivers the absolute best experience across all creative and technical fields.
We have Legend of Zelda, Breath of the Wild, Super Mario Odyssey, Players Unknown Battleground, Persona 5, and Horizon Zero Dawn. This is a tough one.
Here's what I think is going to win it. The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, I think, is going to win Game of the Year.
I think so as well. I do think Mario might have a chance of taking that away. Here's something, though, that I can't remember who was saying this, made a really good point. I think so many of these outlets are going to be split between Mario and Zelda that it's going to split the reviews out. And that something else, because there's such a split between Mario and Zelda, is going to make something like Persona or Horizon get it instead.
Yeah.
I think that's possible. Yeah, I don't think there's any chance of PUBG getting this.
Now,
there's no chance of PUBG winning this.
Here's the absolute best experience across all creative and technical fields. That should be Horizon Zero Dawn. The fact that performance capture, graphics, art direction, I
know the facial animations narrative in Mario Odyssey were impeccable.
But like narrative, all of these things were
like I loved Breath of the Wild. The narrative was weak. It just was.
Yeah.
It was a weak narrative. Mario Odyssey doesn't really need a narrative, but like it wasn't a super strong story throughout.
Yeah.
I think technically Horizon Zero Dawn is the best game on this list, hands down.
I think
no way it's going to be
Zelda,
PUBG when there's still like early access bug issues and stuff like that. Like it's just not going to win. I think Persona 5 is too obscure.
I think a little bit too. Yeah.
I've heard incredible things about it, and I really, really want to play it, but I don't think it's going to win it. I think it's going to be Breath of the Wild too. But I do think it's really between Breath of the Wild, Mario in Horizon, and I wouldn't be surprised if Horizon won just because of the split vote for Mario and Zelda.
Interesting.
People who vote for Mario might have also thought about Zelda and vice versa. But I don't think many people are going to be like, is it Mario or Horizon Zero Dawn? Like, I think if it's Horizon Zero Dawn for you, you're pretty much going to be set on that game.
Yeah.
Whereas Mario and Zelda, I think, could split you. So,
that is what we think will win Game of the Year. Tune in Thursday night. It is Thursday, December 7th. It says find out where to watch the Game Awards here, but what about what time? Come on, Internet.
There's more stuff that's going to be happening at the Game Awards. It's pretty exciting, though, as well.
Yeah.
So usually there's also a lot of game announcements and things like that. So I've put together just some predictions things that I think will happen. I have 5 predictions. Starting off with that Game of the Year, Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. I think Nintendo's going to have a presence at the Game Awards. They have had a presence at the last 2 Game Awards in a big way. And they showed off Breath of the Wild at both of those Game Awards.
We still have a DLC pack, quote unquote, coming
and they still said it's coming out in December. This is the best opportunity for them to announce that
you know
DLC.
what I did hear, too?
What?
I heard that Nintendo, like there's some kind of contest, and Nintendo is giving away tickets to the Game Awards as well.
Yeah, I retweeted that to you because I wanted
is that
to go.
What it was? Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's interesting that they would want people to be there for some kind of thing, maybe.
Yeah. So because we haven't seen anything about this. So my prediction is they're going to show it off, and it's going to come out before Christmas.
Yeah. That's
my prediction there. I think Death Stranding is going to have a presence.
It has to. I mean, the 3 of them are presenting.
Yeah, Kojima, Del Toro, and what's the other guy's name?
Norman Reedus.
If it weren't for them showing up, I'd be like, no way in hell that game's going to be there. But because all 3 of them are there, it's going to be there.
Yep, it has to.
It's going to be a vague trailer. We were not going to know anything more about the game.
It might have Emma Stone in it.
Yeah, it might have Emma Stone. Actually, that's a good prediction because she has been announced at this point to be in the game. That'd be every single trailer they've shown off, they've shown another actor in the game.
Yep.
We haven't seen Emma Stone yet, so I think that's a good... I didn't include it in there, but I'll point that to Chad. Chad predicts Emma Stone's going to be...
Yep.
I have 3 more. From Software will show off a new game.
I think so, too.
It will not be Dark Souls on the Switch.
Nope, it will not.
It will not. Because this is not the kind of thing you announce at the Game Awards. We will see Sea of Thieves, and it will have a release date.
Sea of Thieves? Really?
We will see Sea of Thieves, and it will have a release date. It's another prediction. The other one is that we're going to see Metro Exodus.
Oh, yeah.
And it's going to have a fall 2018 release date. It will not have a specific day, but it will say fall 2018 at the end of the trailer. So those are my 5 predictions. I think they're pretty likely.
I think we also, based on that leak that we saw, I think we might also see Tacoma announced on all those platforms as well. Like, officially announced.
Yeah.
Which I'm very excited for because I love Gone Home and I want to try out Tacoma.
Yeah.
Oh, I have an Xbox now. I can do it today if I wanted. Shut up. Get out of here.
Is Tacoma in VR, though?
No.
That sounds like a game that should be in VR.
All those walking simulators should be in VR. Like, fucking Everybody's Gone to the Rapture. I would cry my face until I drowned in that VR helmet.
I think we have a subscriber interrogative.
Oh, interrogate me.
I'm going to interrogate you. Let me find that question. So the question is, because we just talked about the Game of the Year awards, and we're going to be having our own Game of the Year we'll be talking about.
Yep.
Per person. So we'll have each of our own Game of the Year. What are your quality/value considerations when thinking about your Game of the Year? Like, what's like, in just the most general, broad sense, like when you think of your Game of the Year, what kind of thing are you looking for in that game? Like, how did it impact you, I guess is the way to put it.
I think I actually agree a lot with Andrea Renee, who says that Game of the Year that year should be one that ticks as many boxes or more boxes than any other game on like having a great narrative, having great controls, having really good feeling combat, having excellent performance capture and graphics and art direction. Like, the Game of the Year should be the game that does the most of those perfectly out of any other game.
Yeah. I would agree with that. I would add that for me, and I attribute the same thing to when I think about like the best movie of the year or the best like song of the year kind of thing. Is when I look back at let's say 2011, we'll say like what game or what movie was I thinking about?
Yeah.
Like what do I attribute to 2011? Like when I end this year and I have to think, okay, when I look back at 2017, what game am I going to look back at and say this is the year of that game? And that
Interesting.
On top of that too, just a game that when I play it, I lose myself in that game. Like it is just super immersive, and I
Boost 2.
Boost 2, absolutely.
Boost 2.
I was gonna say 2048. It also should be good. Should be a good game.
Yeah, it should probably be good.
Should probably be good. But yeah,
That was our only interrogative.
that was our only interrogative. Just want to remind everyone that our game of the month this month is what, Chad?
BioShock.
So in the last episode of this month, we were talking about BioShock. If you want to talk about it to us through the podcast that we won't be able to hear you, go for it.
Talk about it to us through us.
I kind of started that thought. I'm like, that doesn't make any sense, Holden. You should just stop that thought. Like, no, roll with it.
Reminder, also tweet at SplitScreenGP if you know what that line was, what movie that line was from, and then I'll draw you a picture with some
Remind us
stuff.
the line again.
Dear God, turn me into a bird so I can fly far, far away from here. Also, tweet at SplitScreenGP with or email us at SplitScreenGamingPodcast@gmail.com with any suggestions for my Xbox checkbox of things that I should be going back and playing now that I have an Xbox for the first time in years. And I think that's it for today.
That's all for today.
We'll see
Everyone,
all you baby balloons later.
Bye-bye.
Bye.